Today, I want to talk to you about what President Biden did on Tuesday in an effort to lower gas prices. As most of you already know about, the inflation has increased dramatically lately, an issue of imported goods causing supply shortages, and the increase of gas prices are affecting everyone in the USA. My bad, not just the US, but all around the world. People are affected by the increase in gas prices. Well, on Tuesday, in an effort to cause gas prices to drop a little bit lower, President Biden announced that he was going to be releasing 50 million barrels of oil from the oil reserve. Now, this measure could help lower fuel prices as they continue to cause a strain on Americans as we continue to recover from the pandemic. Now, we also have news regarding people who refuse to wear their mask in restricted areas. Some are receiving fines as much as $40,000 per person. And lastly, I do want to talk about the potential $1,800 stimulus checks that are coming in December. But before we get started, guys, hey, if you're interested in those topics, hey, be so kind and go ahead and hit that like button for us. It really helps out the channel, as well as it tells YouTube to share this video with others. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. Now, let's go ahead and get right back into this video. 8 unruly passengers face more than $160,000 in fines. Now, the 8 airline passengers are facing fines totaling more than $160,000 for violations of alcohol and face mask rules aboard commercial planes. Now, there have been more than 5,000 unruly passenger reports this year, including nearly 3,800 mask-related incidents, according to the latest figures from the Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA. Now, since January the 1st of 2021, the FAA has received nearly 300 reports of passenger disturbances due to alcohol and intoxication. The FAA and the Justice Department established an information sharing protocol in August to refer to unruly passenger cases to the FBI for their review. Now, the FAA said that the rate of unruly passenger incidents on commercial flights had actually fallen since they launched its zero tolerance policy back in January, but the rate remains too high as of now. Now, the agency said that these 8 passengers who they did not want to identify face a combined total of $161,823 in civil penalties, although they have 30 days to contest those fines, and all of the cases involved are related to alcohol. Now, the biggest fine of them all is $40,823 was for one passenger who the FAA says illegally brought and consumed their own alcohol aboard an Southwest Airlines flight back in April. Now, the FAA alleges that when the traveler was asked to stop drinking, the passenger then sexually assaulted the flight attendant before going to the restroom to smoke cannabis. Now, the passenger was arrested for resisting arrest and public intoxication when the plane actually landed in San Diego. Now, it was not immediately clear why the passenger wasn't charged with assault, but the FAA doesn't have the authority to file criminal charges. Now, the other passengers face fines ranging from $8,250 up to $24,000 per person. All but one of those cases are also involved resistance to complying with face mask requirements. Now, guys, I want to tell you that it is a federal crime not to wear your face mask in the airport as well as on commercial airline planes. So, if you have any trips coming here in the near future and you don't believe in wearing a mask, I just want you to know that it is a federal crime not to wear your face mask in these particular places. Now, if you don't want to wear a mask, then I suggest that you go ahead and book a private jet to fly you to wherever you are going. Now, in other news, more than 90% of federal workers have actually gotten the COVID vaccine shot before President Biden's vaccine mandate deadline. According to this article, more than 90% of 3.5 million federal workers received at least one dose of the coronavirus vaccine by Monday, which was the deadline that was set by President Biden back in September. Now, the officials said that the administration hopes that private businesses can use the federal government's worker vaccine mandate as an example to implement their own requirements for workers to be vaccinated. According to OSHA, or the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, they issued a rule back on November the 4th that would require large companies to mandate COVID vaccines for employees or impose weekly testing or face federal fines. But the mandate has been placed on hold after being challenged by multiple states in the court system. Now, these numbers make one thing perfectly clear, that vaccination requirements actually work, according to the Biden administration. They said that we have done this with the largest workforce in the United States, with more than 3.5 million covered employees across the country and around the world in diverse roles. And we have done this without disruptions to critical services people depend on every day. So yeah, guys, they are saying that 95% of federal workers have actually received at least one vaccine shot since the vaccine mandate was put in place. But as we all know, that has been challenged in the court system right now. So OSHA has decided to put a halt to the vaccine mandate as of now, and waiting on what the court system says on whether they can push this vaccine mandate going forward or not. And then we also know that the governor of Florida has actually introduced 4 bills that actually restrict any company from pushing that vaccine mandate in the state of Florida. And now it's time for some stimulus update news. Now, I mentioned to you guys yesterday that according to GasBuddy.com, gas prices appear to be getting a little bit better as the Thanksgiving holiday rolls around. And then I talked about how one county in California just reached more than $6 per gallon of gas, as California has the highest prices in fuel right now, which they have always had the highest fuel prices for years. And as you can see from this chart on the screen right here, most states on the West Coast tend to have the highest fuel costs in the United States, which California takes the #1 spot with $4.39 per gallon as of September the 23rd, which we know earlier this week some places officially hit $6 per gallon. Well, President Biden made an announcement on Tuesday that he was putting his foot forward to lower fuel prices in the United States. The United States is planning to release 50 million barrels of oil from the strategic reserve. President Biden directed the Department of Energy on Tuesday to release 50 million barrels of oil from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve to help lower fuel prices. Now, it's the Biden administration's most direct effort yet to tap down on the high gasoline prices that have become a political headache for the White House amid wider inflation. Now, the move comes after the House Democrats urged President Biden in a letter on Monday to release crude oil and to temporarily ban exports. Now, gasoline prices are averaging around $3.40 per gallon, more than $1 per gallon higher than last year when President Donald Trump was in office. But 32 million barrels will be released over the next several months and eventually replaced in the coming years, as well as 18 million barrels will be part of a sale that was previously authorized by Congress, and the reserve held a total of 604 million barrels of oil as of November the 19th, according to the Energy Department. Now, the Biden administration said that this effort, for the first time, will be coordinated with releases from other major oil consumer nations. And as we know, guys, this gas price increase is not just affecting people in the United States. It also affects China, India, Japan, South Korea, and the United Kingdom. President Biden has repeatedly urged OPEC as its allied countries to ramp up production to meet demand. But the oil cartel has largely ignored President Biden's demands and stuck to their current plan, which is to raise their output by 400,000 barrels in December. So yeah, guys, this is some huge news from President Biden on Tuesday that he is going to release 50 million barrels of oil in an attempt to lower the current gas prices in this country, and the hope to actually lower gas prices in other countries as well. But as he announced this information on Tuesday, it appears that oil prices actually jumped another 2% following his announcement. Oil prices surged on Tuesday following plans by the Biden administration to release oil from the country's emergency stockpile in an effort to combat the high gas prices that consumers are paying right now. West Texas intermediate crude prices climbed as much as 2.6% to $78.75 per barrel, and Brent oil's international benchmark picked up 2.8%, pushing it to $81.94 per barrel. Earlier on Tuesday, Joe Biden announced that the Energy Department going to release 50 million barrels of oil from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Now, this move wasn't the game changer that it could have been and only provides short-lived support, according to the senior market analyst. He said instead it appeared to serve more as a warning to OPEC to not ignore consuming countries. So yeah, guys, as I stated, this is some great news that they're going to be releasing these additional barrels of oil. And we hope that the gas prices are soon to be coming right back down, at least 50 cents up to $1 per gallon. Because as we stated earlier in this article, that last year when President Trump was in office, gas prices was actually lower by $1 per gallon of gas. And last but not least, guys, hey, there have been a few discussions going around about an $1,800 stimulus check that was approved in Washington. Well, I want to clear some things up, as this is not necessarily a fourth stimulus check. However, this is more related to the child tax credit. Earlier last week was the deadline of when parents could go to the IRS.gov's portal and complete information regarding the child tax credit provision from the American Rescue Act. Now, this would allow those who are eligible and legal parents or guardians of children under the age of 17 years old. This is only for the people who have never received any CTC payments throughout 2021, such as the $250 monthly payments or the $300 monthly payments. Now, if you have never received any of those, you could fill out your information on the IRS's portal and you could receive an $1,800 stimulus check or a child tax credit check in December. Now, let me be clear, guys, that deadline has already passed to fill out that information. But for those that did fill it out, you are eligible to receive up to an $1,800 check sometime in December. Now, if you do see messages regarding this information, such as on TikTok or Instagram or even Facebook, I want to make sure that you know that this is only in regards to the child tax credit, and not just anybody can receive these stimulus checks. Only anyone that hasn't received any payments this year for the child tax credit, as well as you have to be a parent, a legal parent, or a guardian of a child under the age of 17 years old. But yes, guys, I just wanted to update you on that information in case you see that posted from someone else. Now, as far as new stimulus checks go, for now, so many lawmakers are still pushing for another stimulus check. We have multiple petitions out to get stimulus checks for regular American people and for Social Security recipients. We also have negotiators on Capitol Hill still pushing for another stimulus check. And we have Budget Bill pushing for another stimulus check as well. But still no final word on whether we will get those approved in the near future. Now, the social spending bill is in the Senate right now to be voted on, and that could be a piece of the negotiations to be used when deciding what to keep or remove in the bill that was already signed by the House of Representatives. We will know more after the Thanksgiving holiday, so be sure that you are already subscribed to the channel to follow more updated information. But anyways, guys, hey, that's all I have for you today. Now, if you enjoyed this type of content and you want to see more, hey, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you like this video, then go ahead and hit that like button for us. It really helps out this channel, as well as it tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.